I'm Barry Henderson. I am the owner of Henderson and Sons Funeral Homes. Not only the North Chapel and Crematory, but the South Chapel down on Maple Road.
What got you into the funeral business?
Well, I was following my dad's footsteps. I told my dad ever since I was young that one day when I finished up playing ball and finished college, I told him I'd come work with him. So at 16, I started working here at the funeral home. I would stay overnight because this was before beepers and cell phones and any way to contact you unless you were right there on premise. So we had to have somebody on premise 24/7. So I would come on the job at 6 o'clock at night. I would work visitations. I would go on some death calls, and I would answer the phone all night. And then the next morning I'd get up, and we lived right next door to the funeral home down here at our South Chapel, and I would go next door, get my shower, get ready for school. Went on to college, played ball, and met my wife while I was in college, and she and I married before my senior year. So upon my graduation from college, I came back and I began full-time employment. Well, then it was an amazing thing that, I thought I was always following in Dad's footsteps. But then in 1983, I experienced a change in my life because I accepted the Lord as my Savior. And when I did, I thought God was calling me to preach. And that was scary because I knew me and I knew God knew me. But the more I began to talk to my dad and really kind of try to understand where God was leading me, I understood that He called me into this. Because what better way to minister to families during the worst time of their life than to be here at the funeral home and to give them the same hope that I have, that hope in Christ.
A lot of folks don't say they want to work in the funeral business. What is it about the funeral business that you fell in love with, that just absolutely this is what I want to do?
Serving people. It's all about serving people. I've been asked, I don't know how many times, of course, when I got to college and I was in my business classes, and they'd always ask, well, what are you going to be? And I'd always tell them I was going to be a funeral director and embalmer. And that would always, the instructor then would look at me funny and say, I've never had anybody tell me that before. But, just dealing with people all the time, they'll say, hey, you deal with dead folks all the time. Part of our responsibility is caring for the dead. But our responsibility is to the living.
What tends to be the most difficult part of your job?
Dealing with the death of children. Over the years, that's been the most difficult thing because, I have never experienced that. And I found out over the years in my profession that unless you have experienced something yourself, you really don't understand it.
Recently, you guys opened up a new chapel in Armurchie. What would your dad think about that, and what was the process of opening that part of town?
Well, when we built this funeral home, of course, Dad bought the funeral home in 1961. And one of the most unique things was that when I was born in 1960, Mother and Daddy lived on McGrady Road, which is less than a mile from the new North Chapel and Crematory. But Dad in 61, really sensing a calling from God, bought the funeral home down in South Lindale, and then, of course, moved it up here in the mid-60s, I guess. And then we built the new facility here and moved in February of 2000. It was quite an undertaking, no pun intended, but it was quite a project because Dad loves building, and I hate it. So Dad enjoyed seeing the construction of this place, and all. Of course, it was a little unique for him because we kind of had to step out on faith to build this facility. I believe now if Dad saw the North Chapel that he would be pleased because of the first-class way that we did it, and the fact that now that we have a crematory so that when families select cremation, we're able to take care of their needs ourselves rather than sub them out to a third-party crematory. And we're fortunately the only crematory that is in Floyd County. We feel that we offer a valuable and needed service, and we feel like we do it better than anyone else does. And the fact that we're home and locally owned It was just an opportunity for us to better serve the county. Now we're geographically suited to be convenient to all of the residents in Floyd County and even the surrounding counties.
What does Henderson and Barry Henderson yourself bring to the table that other funeral homes may or may not offer?
Well, I think that our history and our reputation from the starting of this business by my dad, treating families with honesty, treating them with dignity in a professional manner, and serving them according to their needs. Not trying to force anything on them that we prefer, but serving them according to their needs. But I think that our reputation and the fact that we've been here during all of the corporate buyouts of all the funeral homes in the Floyd County area and even in Northwest Georgia, we've remained independently owned through it all.
What about your hobbies and interests?
Loved to fish early on. Had to give that up to spend more time with my children because I was spending too much time on the boat. Loved to hunt, but when the boys were in high school and we were following them in football, it kind of took into your hunting time. But, I've been a baseball coach at Darlington for, this year would be 11 years. I'm now in my later years, fixing to turn 54. I'm not old by any means, but, being empty nesters and with the boys gone and with Wes living next door to the funeral home here at our South Chapel, and then Garrett lives up near the North Chapel with his new wife, Katie. Now I'm just loving the empty nest, and most of my time now I just enjoy spending with my wife of nearly 32 years. So.
What about Rome and Floyd County that when you graduated, you said, I'm going to come back and serve?
I just, I remember being raised in Lindale, and I remember the Christian values, the friendships, and the people. I just can't imagine being anywhere else. I just think this is the gem of the hills, man. I tell you, Rome and Floyd County, I mean, we have so many things available to us, the waterways and the hunting areas, and all conveniently located. I've always told friends from other towns and other states that, you could be fishing or hunting in about 15 minutes, from here. So I just love the place. The Floyd County and Rome is just home. I can't imagine living anywhere else.